So let's jump right into this one. So we're talking about anxious thoughts, right? So how many of you know about burdens, right? We have these burdens. I remember as a little kid, we used to go to Sunday school and we'd always sing the song, cast your burdens onto Jesus. He cares for you, right? We like that song. Higher, higher, lift Jesus higher, right? That's the song that we love to sing. But I can tell you it's a completely different story when you have to walk that out. It's easy to say, cast your burdens upon Jesus when you don't have any burdens. It's easy to sing that song, right? It's easy to lift Jesus higher, higher when there's no burdens like, trying to weigh you down. It's really easy to sing that song. But once again, the Lord knows so well. He knows our frame. He knows our thoughts. He knows our frailty. And really, He came to teach us over and over again. He came to reassure us of the truth of His Father's word, of His Father's love for us, of His Father's commitment to us, right? His Father's plan and purpose for our lives. Over and over again, He had to reassure us of these things, right? And so like you, I've had these moments where I would pray. There's these burdens I'm carrying, I'm praying. A lot of it had to do with my marriage in the beginning. Just carry this heavy weight, of this marriage that we were just trying to hold on and trying to make work. And I pray, and then what happens, right? I get real anxious. Oh, God, you're taking too long. God just takes a little too long sometimes, right? And then I just get frustrated because, come on, God, I prayed yesterday. Why is not changed today, right? Why things not different today? And I would just like, oh, come on, God, no, you take too long. I'm going to fix this, right? And yeah, what was the outcome of my fixing it? More frustration, more broken relationships, more stress, more anxiety, right? And so I've really had to get to this place in my life, man. I'm like, God, I don't want to be such a slow learner anymore. I really want to get to this place in my life where I can truly just not be anxious about anything, right? I don't want to be anxious about anything, right? I want you to take these cares that I have. I want you to take it upon me because, as I said, He knows our struggles. He knows our frustrations, right? But God desires to do a work in me, a work in you, right before He takes care of all the stuff in our lives. Peter, Peter, the big mouth, Peter? I love to read what Peter says, knowing his history, knowing what he had walked through. Peter says this in 1 Peter chapter 5, verses 6 to 7. He says, humble yourself, Andre, humble yourself, therefore under God's mighty hand, that He may lift you up in due time. Hell, listen to this. Cast all your anxiety on Him because He cares for you. Cast all your anxiety upon Him because He cares for you. View that in light of the cross. I'd like to take you back to that place because you got to really understand the sacrifice, the pain, the suffering, the humiliation, the rejection that He suffered on the cross. I mean, is that not enough to prove that He cares? He cares, right? He cares that He would go through that for you and me. So I can really just in humility go to Him and say, I can't carry this burden, Lord. I can't make this work. I'm incapable. I give up. I give up. I surrender. I surrender. So yeah, I surrender, and this is like casting my cares upon you. And really think about it. I mean, this is something you and I have to really learn to do. It's not going to come natural because when we didn't have Christ in our lives, when I didn't serve Jesus and I didn't serve God, I had to make my life work the best way I knew how. I had to learn to cope, and I coped, okay? And I don't want to just cope anymore. I don't just really want to exist anymore. I really want to step into a life that's full, a life that's successful, a life that's overcoming, a life that is empowered, right? That's really what I want to live, and that's what He had come to make available for us. And so we have to really just walk this thing out, man. You just have to walk this thing out. And if you fail, you guess what you do? You just stand up again. If you resist giving your burdens, you take it back. You know what? Just do it again. Do it again. You get better at it. You really are going to get better at it. And as you get better at it, He's going to carry more of those burdens for you. And you're going to really begin to walk into this place, where when things happen in your life, you have peace. You have rest. Because you know what? There's nothing you can do about certain situations in your life anyway, right? right? I was I was a leader of a small group, whatever you want to call it, and we had people in the small group that we kind of just took care of. It's just part of our church and what we did. And I remember being away for work. I was in Phoenix, Arizona, and I remember getting a call from one of the fathers in our small group that his daughter was just run over, and she was just being medevaced. She was being airlifted, being flown to the hospital because the prognosis were really bad. We didn't really know how bad it was until and of course we mobilized, we prayed. And I came back the end of that week, and the first thing I did was I made sure I went to the hospital to go and pray for them and really just be there to support them. And the thing that struck me so tremendously was when I walked into the hospital room, there was no anxiety in a mother's heart. There was no anxiety in the father's eyes. There was just this peace. There was just this peace that passes all understanding. They stood there like their daughter's life was not even in danger. And I looked at the mother and I was like, wow, you guys just seem so unfazed. And this is what she said. She said this, she said, either he's God or he's not. I want you to just hear that again. Either he is God or he's not. And you know what she believed. She believed that he was God. And I can tell you that girl walked out of the hospital, I don't know how many months later. She walked out of the hospital. As far as I know, they moved to another city. We've lost contact with them. We see them every couple of years. As far as I know, she's made a complete 100% recovery, and it was pretty bad. I'm not going to go into the details. She had brain damage. She had internal bleeding. She had things. She actually died on the scene of the accident. All right. There was a nurse that showed up right after the accident happened, and he resuscitated her. So she walked through that experience with this strength, with this confidence. And I still remember that power of that strength and that confidence. And either he's God or he's not. Either I can cast my cares upon him or I cannot. Either I can trust him or I cannot. Either I can believe him or I cannot. Right? And so we're going to really begin to rebuild our lives, right? That's really what happens for us. We'll come to Christ in our brokenness, in our pain, in our humility, and everything that we've walked through. We come to Christ with the broken pieces of our lives. And with all of the pain and the anxiety that we've carried for so long, and we unload. Come on, we're going to unload. We're going to take these burdens off ourselves, and we're going to unload them upon Jesus Christ, right? He said, look, take my yoke upon you, because my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Cast your cares upon me. Leave it there. Let me carry it for you. Amen. How awesome is that? How awesome is that? And I mean, you might be carrying some stuff right now in your life. And you've been burdened by so many things, right? And you've really had a hard time letting go. This might be just a really good time to really just go to the Lord and say, Lord, you know what? I've been trying to carry this burden, these anxious things, these things that have been weighing me down for so long. I can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. I need you to take over my burdens. This is a good time to just stop and say, Lord, come on, I just want to give my cares to you. I want to give my burdens to you. I want to really just lay it down, whatever it might be, sickness, relationships, money, finances, whatever it might be in your life. I'm not kidding you that God is going to bring peace. He's going to bring life. He's going to bring restoration and healing because that's who he is. That's what he does the best. Takes broken things and he makes them whole again. Brings burdens, takes burdens off us and gives us joy and gives us peace. Leave it with him. Just leave it with him. Even if you have to write them down, just make sure that you don't pick them up again. And just learn to trust him. Just learn to trust him, even if you don't understand. Amen. He's a God that loves us. He loves us. He loves us. He loves us. And love will do anything and everything for the person or for the one that they love. That's just how love is. That's how love works. All right? And trust him. Believe him. And pray that he will just do what he says in his word to do. Wow, there's a lot, right? There's a lot to take in. It really is a lot to take in. And I hope you're hanging in there with me. I hope that you maybe get a copy of the book to just read these scriptures that I've put in there, the lessons that I have in there, and just read them, reread them. I read them. I wrote the book. I reread it every time. And I'm encouraged every time, not because I wrote it, but it's because it reminds me yet again of his faithfulness and what he's done for me, what he has brought me through, where he has brought me to. And so it just gives me strength all the time.